Science says that the beverage most effective at alleviating spicy mouth burn is milk. If you have recently consumed too much of a hot chili product and are acutely suffering, feel free to go and apply this knowledge right away. If you want to learn about the science behind this, here we go. First thing to understand is that no beverage is going to immediately take away all the pain. Why? Because the burn is a pain response and not a taste, and pain always lingers. You slap yourself in the face, the force of the blow is going to be gone in an instant, but the pain is going to linger for a minute or two. Same deal with chili burn. Pain is supposed to warn us that whatever we're doing, we need to stop or we need to get away. You wouldn't want your pain responses to be so fleeting that you might overlook them. Next thing to understand is that any drink that is cooler than your body temperature is going to give you some immediate relief. Why? Well, because capsaicin, the stuff in chilies that makes your mouth burn. Capsaicin makes your mouth feel about 10 degrees Celsius hotter than it actually is. So when you eat it, your body temperature suddenly becomes hot enough to make you feel like you're being burned. It's an illusion, but the pain is real. Anything you put in your mouth that's cooler than you is going to give you some relief, at least as long as you keep it in there and as long as it stays cool. However, there is some research that indicates some cool beverages are more effective than others, and milk comes out on top. Thing is, we don't really understand why. The thinking on this subject was recently turned on its head by researchers including Dr. Alyssa Nolden, a food scientist at UMass Amherst.
Prior reports that have looked at decreasing the burn from capsaicin had suggested that it was due to the fat content, and also capsaicin is a lipophilic molecule, meaning it loves to be in a fat environment.
But this paper that Dr. Nolden and colleagues published just a few months ago casts a lot of doubt on the fat theory. Not too long ago, when Nolden was a grad student at Penn State, she and her colleagues sat down about 70 people and had them take a big swig of spicy Bloody Mary mix, basically tomato juice with chilies in it. After that, the participants rated the intensity of the burn, and then they chased the spicy drink with one of 7 beverages. They then continued rating the burn that they felt every 10 seconds until 2 minutes was up. Then they took a break until their mouths felt normal again, they rinsed with water, and then they repeated with the next drink. Those 7 beverages were, in rough order from least effective to most effective: seltzer, beer, no, sorry Macon Beer Company, it was non-alcoholic beer. Alcohol triggers the exact same burn pain receptor that capsaicin does, so alcohol would make it worse. Then there's room temperature water, Coke, Kool-Aid, and let me tell you, the flavor combination of Bloody Mary mix and cherry Kool-Aid may be the worst thing I've tasted in my entire life. Then whole milk, and even a little more effective than that, skim milk. With seltzer, the pain immediately dropped by about a quarter. With skim milk, the pain immediately dropped by about half. Not a huge difference, mind you, but if you're really suffering, I'm guessing you'll take all the help you can get. The fact that skim milk and whole milk are basically in a statistical tie for first place tells us that fat is probably not what is easing the burn. Skim milk is almost fat-free. So maybe it's the sugar instead. Dr. Nolden theorizes that sugar might ease some chili burn by virtue of a broader perceptual phenomenon known as mixture suppression.
So if you take the same concentration of a bitter compound, and it's maybe a moderate intensity, and then you take sucrose, and it's a moderate sweetness. If you combine those two together, both bitterness and sweetness decreases.
It's kind of intuitive, right? Opposing forces cancel each other out.
So I have a feeling that that's what's happening with capsaicin. When you have a sweet beverage after capsaicin, it's not actually helping to clear it. It increases the sweetness, and therefore your burns reducing.
Side note, yes, capsaicin tickles our burn pain receptors, but it can also tickle our bitterness receptors. In fact, some of Dr. Nolden's prior research identified a particular genetic variation that some people have that makes chilies, pepper, and alcohol taste particularly bitter to them. Maybe one reason that sweetness seems to counter chilies is that it's not just countering the burn, it's also countering the bitterness that a lot of people get along with the burn. But the sweetness theory still doesn't fully explain the findings of this experiment at Penn State. Yeah, milk is sweet, it has lactose, but it's not nearly as sweet as Kool-Aid or Coke. So again, why was milk the most effective at putting out the fire?
Could be due to protein.
Ah, yes, milk has proteins, casein and whey. Coke and Kool-Aid don't have protein. So let's extend the experiment. I'll get out my whey protein powder, mix it up, down the Bloody Mary mix, and chase with the muscle drink. It's hardly scientific, but 1 out of 1 Adams agrees that's pretty effective. Could very well be the protein. I'm also wondering if it's maybe the viscosity. That stuff is very thick, it sticks to your mouth, so maybe it's just like putting cream on a burn. Obviously, more research is needed. If you conduct any of your own ad hoc experiments, let me know about it. Just really, the Bloody Mary Kool-Aid thing, stay safe, kids. Don't try that at home.